Namaskar and welcome to Government e-Marketplace. This is an e-learning course on Introduction to Buyer Functionality. Select the Start button to proceed further. Please note that this course uses narration, so remember to turn on your speakers or headphones while taking the course. You can also view the course transcript by clicking the Notes button on the top left of your screen. In this module, you will learn the following. The genesis of Government e-Marketplace. Segregation of duties based on user's role. Prerequisites for primary user and secondary user registration. The steps for registering as a buyer on Government e-Marketplace. Role of a verifying authority. Let us begin the course by understanding the origin of Government e-Marketplace. Government e-Marketplace was launched on 9th August 2016. It is a one-stop online procurement portal for all government buyers including central or state ministries, departments, bodies and PSUs. The portal provides the tools of e-bidding, reverse auction and direct procurement to facilitate procurement for government users. Government e-Marketplace aims to enhance and make public procurement efficient, transparent, and inclusive. Let us learn about the duties of primary and secondary users on Government e-Marketplace on the basis of their role. Select each tab to learn more. You will need to view tabs before clicking on Next. Responsibilities of a primary user are listed below. Registering the organization. Creating or modifying secondary users. Managing users. Deactivation of user account. Monitoring of orders placed. Please note, primary user registration is authorized at the level of Deputy Secretary or equivalent officer or head of the office at sub-center or unit or branch of government organization or PSU or autonomous, local, constitutional and statutory bodies. The buyer makes purchases and drafts bills. Consignee accepts, rejects and generates the consignment. Please note, buyer and consignee can be the same person. The indenter selects the products and adds them to buyer's cart. Kindly note that this is an optional role. The drawing and disbursement officer processes bills and pushes them to the public financial management system. Pay and accounts officer processes bills for payments through non-PFMS payment mode. A technical evaluator analyzes the bidders based on technical parameters specified in the bid. Kindly note that this is an optional role. Let us check your understanding. Match the user to their respective role. As a primary user, you must provide the following information. Aadhaar number. Mobile number linked with Aadhaar. Email ID hosted by NIC. Verifying authority details such as name, Aadhaar linked mobile number, and NIC registered email ID. To register as a secondary user, the user must provide the following information. Aadhaar number. Mobile number linked to Aadhaar. a NIC registered email ID or a@gembuyer.in email ID. Please note, in case the primary or secondary users do not have gov.in or nic.in email ID, they can apply for @gembuyer.in email ID. For secondary users, @gembuyer.in email ID can only be created by primary users. Let's review the steps of registering primary and secondary buyers. Select each step. To begin registration, select your role in the organization and click on the checkbox next to the required details. To proceed further, the user must carefully read through Government e-Marketplace terms and conditions. Update details of your organization's hierarchy by selecting the organization type, ministry or state department from the drop-down menu. The fourth step is primary user verification, wherein after updating the hierarchy, primary user needs to verify themselves using their Aadhaar number linked to mobile number. On successful Aadhaar verification, the user will be prompted to verify their email ID using GOV or NIC email ID or a Government e-Marketplace buyer email ID. Complete the registration process and create login details for your account. Please note, if the user does not have a gov.in or nic.in email ID, they can raise a request for an official email ID or can alternatively opt for the creation of a Government e-Marketplace buyer ID. Let us learn about the duties of primary and secondary users on Government e-Marketplace on the basis of their. Let's understand the process of how primary users are verified. At the time of registration, primary user needs to provide the following details of verifying authority: name, official email ID, Aadhaar-linked mobile number. If the verification authority does not click on the deactivation link within 48 hours, primary user is considered auto-approved for Government e-Marketplace. Once the primary user is successfully registered, competent authority is also notified through email. Let's now quickly summarize the key takeaways from this module. It is preferable to have gov.in or nic.in domain email ID to register as a primary or a secondary user on Government e-Marketplace. In case the user does not have an email ID hosted by NIC, they can opt for creation of @gembuyer.in email ID. Primary user registration requires details of verifying authority. Secondary users can only be added by the primary user. And welcome to Government e-Marketplace. This is an e-learning course on primary user registration. Select the Start button to proceed further. Please note that this course uses narration, so remember to turn on your speakers or headphones while taking the course. You can also view the course transcript by clicking the Notes button on the top left of your screen. In this module, you will learn the following. Role of primary user. Steps for registering as a primary user. Process of updating primary user profile. Primary user is the prime authority that manages the end-to-end procurement process. They are also responsible for creation of secondary users. Primary user in government e-marketplace, the primary user is as under. Any officer of central or state government or PSU or autonomous bodies or local bodies or constitutional bodies or statutory bodies at the level of Deputy Secretary of the Government of India or equivalent. Head of the office at sub-center or unit or branch can register his or her organization or unit on Government e-marketplace portal as primary user. Role of primary user includes self-registration, buyer's organization's account setup, creation of secondary users, deactivation or transfer of secondary users' accounts, monitoring of orders placed and administration of all procurement being carried out through Government e-marketplace. Visit gem.gov.in. Here, click on Sign Up and select Buyer Organization option from drop-down menu. Under User Type, select Primary User HOD. Check all the mandatory checkboxes and click on Proceed. Select the checkbox to accept the terms and conditions and click on Proceed. Click on Organization Details to fill in relevant information of your organization and click on Next. Enter Aadhaar number and the linked mobile number. Select checkbox and click here. Enter OTP and click on Verify. The system will generate a success prompt upon verification of Aadhaar. Click on Next to continue. Fill in your official email ID. And click on Send OTP to verify. Please note, it is preferable to have gov.in or nic.in domain email ID for registering on Government e-marketplace. In case the primary user does not have NIC hosted email ID, they can apply for at gembuyer.in email ID. Enter the OTP received on email and click here. Click on Next to continue. Enter user ID. Set the password and click on Create Account. Please note, user ID must be carefully created on the basis of designation or role of the user. Once created, it cannot be changed. Your primary user account has been successfully created. Process of creation of primary user account is not complete till the user completes their profile. Click here to start updating your profile. Select Organization Address to update the organization details. And click on Save. Select Payment Method to update your payment details. Click on Save to proceed. Click here to update your personal details. Please note, name and designation of the user will be prefetched from the database as verified at the time of registration. Update the remaining details. And click here to proceed. Select Referral Verification to update verifying authority details. Fill in the highlighted fields and click on Next. The registration request has been sent to the verifying authority for action. Verifying authority will receive a mail with a link to reject the registration request if required. Please note, post 48 hours, the registration request would be auto-approved if not rejected by verifying authority in that time frame. Primary user profile has been successfully updated. Please summarize the key takeaways from this module. Following details are mandatory for registering as a primary user on Government e-Marketplace. Aadhaar card with linked mobile number. Email ID hosted by NIC or at gembuyer.in email ID. Verifying authority details. A primary user cannot change their user ID once created. Secondary user creation is mandated as primary users cannot place orders on Government e-Marketplace. Creation, modification, and deactivation of secondary users' account is performed by primary users.